Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Chris Weidenbar, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Corporal Tara Bowen. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors and by students on behalf of the following schools. From the Australian Capital Territory, the Defence Transition for St Mary MacKillop in Waniassa and Isabella Plains. From New South Wales, St Mary's School, Hay, and Lithgow Public School. From South Australia, Cleve Area School, Secondary Department. And from Tasmania, Bracknell Primary School. I now ask you all to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Students, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's first World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway lands. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flight Sergeant Desmond Michael Leonid O'Halloran. Born in Tientsin, China, Desmond O'Halloran was the son of Michael and Anastasia O'Halloran of Galway, Ireland. Living in Australia, Desmond O'Halloran enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force at Sydney on the 15th of June 1942. He began training as an air crew and bomb aimer before embarking for overseas service. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, O'Halloran was one of almost 27,500 Royal Australian Air Force pilots, navigators, wireless operators, gunners and engineers who throughout the course of the war joined squadrons based in Britain. After arriving in Britain, O'Halloran undertook further specialist training before being posted to No. 166 Squadron, Royal Air Force. As part of the Royal Air Force's Bomber Command, No. 166 Squadron was equipped with 4-engined Avro Lancaster heavy bombers. On the 24th of December 1944, the Lancaster, in which O'Halloran was the air bomber, was participating in a daylight raid on the German city of Cologne when it was shot down. O'Halloran and 5 of his 6 crewmates, 5 British and a fellow Australian, Warrant Officer Ronald Arthur Dow, were killed. Their bodies are buried side by side in the British and Commonwealth War Cemetery in Rheinberg, Germany. O'Halloran was 20 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, amongst 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flight Sergeant Desmond Michael Leonid O'Halloran, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and for the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening.